Welcome to Learn Easily. Here
We are
going to talk about learning and memory. Learning. Learning is an endless process. And learning is a lifelong process. Then memory. Everybody needs this memory. Everybody is trying to say that I want to increase my memory. Now in this video, I am going to present my views on learning. How the learning should be. How to improve your learning. How to faster your learning. How to learn effectively. And a memory. What is memory? And how to increase your memory. Now, before starting the topic learning and memory, here I am not an expert. I am also a learner and I am learning. Now I am going to present you my views on this learning and memory. Now let us begin the learning. What is learning? Everybody we are learning. Then what is meant by learning? Learning means acquire knowledge or acquire a skill by study or by experience or being taught. Learning is nothing but getting knowledge. Maybe by studying, by reading or by watching we are getting knowledge or a skill. Okay, we are learning the skills. That is by study or by being taught, or by being taught means by going to school or college. We are learning. Here learning is nothing but the knowledge we are receiving to our brain. That is learning. Learning is nothing but not only like students going to school or college reading. Learning is nothing but even a skill like drawing, painting, computer, whatever you are going to get the knowledge. It may be a skill or studies. Everything is a learning. Here the learning is more effective when it is by experience. Learning is nothing but getting knowledge by study or by experience or being taught. Now I said knowledge. How we are getting knowledge to our brain? We are learning to get knowledge. Okay, how we getting knowledge? We are getting our knowledge by sense organs. Sense organs are the dose of a knowledge. Whatever the knowledge, whatever we are learning, it is going to our mind or brain through our sensory organs. We have 5 sense organs. We are watching, we are listening, we are smell, we taste, we feel. Okay, these 5 sensory organs are the doors or windows to get knowledge to our brain. We are learning through these sensory organs. We are reading means we are through our eyes we are reading and we are getting knowledge to brain. In class being taught means in class we are listening to the teacher and we are getting knowledge, means we are learning. Everybody learns through these sensory organs. So the first thing is to make your learning very effective, you have to control your sensory organs, because the knowledge and what we are learning we are receiving to our brain through these sensory organs. Everybody is saying that be attentive or be attention, concentrate, concentration. What is that concentration? What is the attention to learn something? We are learning, it gives the knowledge to brain when we are having concentration, when we are very attention, when we are having good concentration means when we have a control on these sensory organs. We cannot learn by distracting all these sensory organs. If you are reading a book for a knowledge and you are listening to music, means one sense of our vision is reading, our hearing sense is hearing the music. How we will get the knowledge? No. Here, if you control your sense organs on single topic, or reading, or watching, or listening, when you are listening to teacher, watching, listen through your ears, that is concentration. Okay, concentration and attention comes when you keep your sensory organs in your hand, in your control. If you are concentrate all your sensory organs on one single way, then your learning will be very, very effective. Now I will come to the real topic, that is learning. What is learning? Means the input we are giving to our brain is called learn. The learning starts with the input. Learning is a huge input to our brain. Okay, learning means the huge input to our brain. By reading, by watching, by listening, we are giving an input to our brain, that is called learning. You got? Learning is nothing but an input to our brain. Maybe by watching, by reading, or by listening through sensory organs, we are learning, means we are giving input of the knowledge to our brain, that is learning. Here the first thing we have to keep in our mind is that the quality of input should be very, very, very effective. The quality of input. What is meant by the quality of input? See, if you are getting knowledge or if you are learning, means don't keep always reading. Always reading. Okay, you have to change the way of learning. If you are reading for some time, you have to listen for some time. You have to watch for some time. That is called quality of input. Don't pressure your mind by reading from morning to night or till the late night, up to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, only reading, only reading. No, that is not the quality of input. That is not the quality of learning. To make the quality of input, the learning should be newly. You have to make a new way of learning. You have to give new type of experiences to your brain. Don't stick on only for reading. Whatever you are learning, go for different modes. Give your brains to new experiences. Okay. See, for example, if we are watching a movie. If you have a movie in your phone, MP4 video and MP3 audio, sometimes the songs we are reading in a PDF, right? That is the quality of input. To learn, to watch that movie, we are using MP3, MP4, text, like that. Your learning also, it's not only the reading. You have to learn the same thing by many ways. Whatever you are going to reading, go for vision also. To watch that knowledge, to listen that knowledge, that is the quality of input. The quality of input increases your learning. Here, a mind is stretched for new experiences, never be dull. Our brain also requires, and it is very attentive for new type of experiences. It's not always interested to only reading. Go for watching, go for listening the same knowledge. Then your brain become more attentive and it receives well. It takes the input. Whatever we are going to give our brain the input, we have to give new type of experiences. You can see in my website or in my collections, I didn't keep only for reading. I made reading materials, I made watching materials, videos, I made the listening materials, audios. Even in this video also, see the video, the text, the animations. See, these type of new experiences gives the learning more. And next one is, while learning, we should not be like multitasker. Multitask is nothing but at a time reading and doing other tasks, like reading by watching TV, reading by keeping phone in hand, seeing the notifications, WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, and reading again. Don't do that. While we are not learning effectively means while we are learning, while we are reading, while we are making study, we are doing multitask. If you are doing the multitask, what happens? It kills the momentum of learning. It kills the momentum of learning, and it kills the retentions, and it kills the quality of recalling. When you are reading for 5 minutes, then you got a message from your friend in WhatsApp, you chat sometime, then again you will come to reading. Where is the momentum of your concentration? You lose your concentration. You won't get that knowledge to your brain effectively. So, while learning, you should not be multitasker. You have to do a single task while learning, while reading, while studying. Avoid these phones, TV, listening music at the time of study. Don't study for a long time. Just study 2 hours with very attention, without distraction of your mind. Then only you will get good retention and the quality of recalling. So keep in your mind, your learning should be single task, not a multitask one. Then the next thing is the output. I know I said to you that input is learning. We are getting knowledge to our brain by input. Now output. What is output? Output is nothing but here you are learning. It is okay. Then how much you are learned? Whether you know you have learned or not, you are studying book, you are practicing question and answers. Okay. Then how you say that you have learned that? Here you have to show you are learning by output. Output is nothing but after your study, after your practice, you have to show outside. Means you have to write that. You have to discuss that. You have to share that. You have to show what you have learned, what you have studied. At least you have to show yourself. If you have studied a long night, if you have read the book, then you have to write it for the confirmation that you have learned. Here, the input is important and the output is double important. Where we are facing the problem, where we are making mistakes means here. We are learning, okay, good, but we are not giving output of our learning. After study, give some output. Write it, what you have learned, or share to your friend what you have learned. Then your learning become very effective. You will learn very effectively. While learning itself, you have some reflection of what you are learning, why you are learning, what is the use of the knowledge you are getting while learning itself. Otherwise, it is like useless thing. If you are studying a book, you have to know what I am studying, why I am studying, for what purpose I am studying, what is the use of it. If you think and learn, your brain will accept that information. Why you are learning? For example, if you are learning computer, why you are learning? For job purpose or for skill, or what you are going to do with that learning course. If you are doing DTP, then you have to reflect on that DTP. I am learning DTP. I have to type letters, postcards, pamphlets. Then that reflection gives your learning very effective. Then the next thing is the implement. The implement and output are important. Implement means you have to show in some other ways what you have learned. You got implement means after learning a lesson, you have to implement that learning knowledge in another way or in another situation. Then your learning becomes permanent and effective. It will keep that learning with you. Whatever the knowledge you learned, you have to implement that in another way, in another time, in another situation. Something you have to do that. If you learned a lesson, if you learned a poem, you have to implement that in some other time. You have learned one song. You know that you learned that song, but you have to implement. If somewhere with your friends or in any party, you have to sing it. You have to sing means implement. You have to use what you have learned somewhere. There is a proverb saying that something is better than nothing. You are learned. Yes, you have knowledge, but where you are using it, you are not implementing, means you are not using what you have learned, your knowledge in anywhere. So the first thing is you have to implement your knowledge. That is also makes your learning perfect, improve. Then the learning will be with you forever. Reading books, getting full of knowledge, degrees holding, everything without showing what you have learned to others, or even you don't know what you have learned, what you have learned without that output, it is like nothing. If you are learning means you have to show some output, you should have reflections on that, what you are learning, and you have to implement what you are learning in another situations. And then last thing is in learning, very important is share what you are learning. Sharing what have you learned, you have to share to others. Here, no one have complete learning without sharing. So, what the learning, what you have learned, you have to share to others. You have to share to your friends. You have to share to your students, or you have to share to your kids. Whatever you have learned, you have to share. Without sharing, really the learning is nothing. Learning is incomplete. Yes, you have learned. You have read the books. You got master degrees. You have a huge knowledge in your brain. But if you are not sharing to others, it is useless. So sharing is also most important to learn more or to learn effectively. How? Means if you are sharing your learning, or if you are sharing what you have learned to others, it makes your brain very active to learn. Now I am sharing to you what I have learned. See, the video what I am making, what I have learned, my skills, everything in this video you can see. This is the learning I am sharing to you. Like that, to share with you, I am learning more and more. And I am making my learning accurate. So, whatever you are learning, you have to share to others to improve your learning. Keep in your mind, if your input is about 1%, you have to give output 2%. If you learned something, you have to share the double. The output should be double of your learning or your input. Then your learning becomes more effective, or you can improve your learning. You can learn very faster. And even also, while learning, while studying, while reading, don't give more pressure to brain. Give some rest to brain. Read 2 hours. Give a break. Sleep. Enjoy the music. Refresh your brain. Then again start learning. Don't keep on reading for hours together. And especially you have to make use of that new ways of learning or new type of experiences to your brain to learn very effectively. As I told you, if you are reading a book, don't stick on to only reading. Watch a video on that book and listen a discussion on that topic. You have to give a different type of experience to your brain to learn more effectively or to increase your knowledge. And if you are reading or if you are studying something, don't make it whole, don't make it pressurized. I heard many are saying that I am reading for a week, for a month this book. No, make it chunks, make it the parts and study and learn one by one. It is more easy to learn effectively also, to learn accurately also. See, this is the learning and how to learn. Here the quality of input gives the quality of output. So learn very effectively or learn with very attention and interest. Then you have to give output of your learning to confirmation or share what you have learned, and definitely you can improve your learning and you can foster your learning also. Now the next thing is our memory. As I told you, our learning is directly linking to this memory. Memory. What is the meaning of memory? Memory is a process by which the mind stores and remembers the information. Memory is nothing but it is a process of our brain that which receives the information and stores it and remember that information is called memory. And most of you are thinking that how to increase that memory, how to increase your memory. Yes, now go one by one. First, the types of memory. Here there are 3 types in memory, that is sensory memory, temporary or short memory, or long term and the permanent memory. Sensory memory is nothing but which our sense organs just clicks on the things. Means when we are going or when we are walking or when we went outside, we are seeing many peoples through our eyes. Those are all called sensory memory. We are not attending them, who they are, what is their name, is there my friend, my relative. We are not attending anybody. Just we go on seeing. Those are all called sensory memory. It is unattended memory. Then second type is short-term memory. What is short-term memory means? We are using that once. We are met a person once, or we are dialed a phone number once. Then we leave it. We are not recalling that again. For example, if you are dialing your friend number, you will dial the number, but next time you won't dial it, just you will call. That is, we are not recalling that information, that just remains for a short time in our mind and it will forgotten. That is short-term memory. Then what is long-term memory? Long-term memory is which we are keep on recalling. We know that long-term memory we need for our future. That we are keep on recalling, that remains in our mind, that is long-term memory. We are all thinking that how to increase that long-term memory, how to remember whatever we read, whatever we learned for a long time. Now let us begin with these words. Here, read these words. Bangalore, king, queen, birthday, gift, child, garden, pool, tree, monkey, gods, banana. Can you repeat these words again? Now you. Can you repeat? No, I am not by heart that these all words. I can make it reverse also. Like banana, god, then monkey, tree, pool, garden, child, gift, birthday, queen, king, bangle. How it is possible? To know this trick, now let us move on to long-term memory or memory, how the memory stays, how the information we can remember for a long time, that is in 4 stages. Means the memory goes to our brain, or the information stores in our brain in 4 steps. The first step is the learning or receiving information. So far you come to know what is learning. That is the first stage of our memory. If you are learning, if you are studying, if you are reading, if you are practicing with what I said like memory, with correct attention, concentration and the quality, and they implement or reflect or output and sharing. If you did all this learning perfectly, that definitely it goes to your brain. But to make it long-term memory, to keep it for a long time, what we have to do? The first stage is learning, receiving information. There also you have to concentrate your sense organs on what you are learning, what you are studying, what you are reading without distractions. If you are studying for 1 hour without distraction, without making multitask, with few concentration and attention, you have to learn it, you have to send it to your brain. Then what after next? To make it longer, the next stage is the retentions, retention marks. Retention marks is nothing but the clues to your brain that you have learned this. You have your information in your brain. To keep our brain know that we are making some retention marks in the form of clues, keynotes, short note, or some visuals. We come to know that these information we have in our memory. Those are called retention marks. For example, what the words I said, it appears words like to you. For me, it is a story. In a Bangalore, there is a king and he had a queen, and on birthday he gave a gift, that is a chain. When she went to garden near the pool, she lost the chain. There is a tree, a monkey got that chain, God came, give a banana, then he get back the chain. For that story, I made this retention to remember that story, or these words can remember the story, right? Like that, while reading, while studying, we have to make what we are studying for a proof of that, a retention marks. To remember that information, we need not to remember whole book. Okay, we need not to read that book again for remember. Okay, just a mark in that information, that just a clue in that information keeps back that what you have learned. For example, I'll tell you, till now you nothing have in your mind. Now see how your mind going to change and remembers whatever. See, listen. KGF movie. KGF movie, Dheera Dheera song, Ash, fight scenes. Now you remember Ash, KGF movie, the songs, the scenes, the dialogues of Ash. See, that is retention. KGF is a word to remember the full movie, the hero, heroine, dialogues, songs. 2 months or 6 months back you watched that movie, but now you remembered all because of the word KGF. And ఇదే నా మాటే శాసనం, బాహుబలి, కట్టప్ప. Now you remember the story of Bahubali, song, Prabhas, the set, Rajamouli, right? Then again one more. Kana Pandigalda Kutavadam, Singalavadam, Rajnikant, Shivaji, Robo. Now you remember Shivaji's Robo and Rajnikant, Shivaji movie and all. See, these are all called retention marks. Means whatever we watch, whatever we learn, whatever we study, it needs its proof in the form of some visuals, some words, some keynotes, some short notes to remember it. Okay, these retention marks, definitely we can remember what we have learned, and we have to recall these retentions. We have to recall them, these retentions, to make the learning, whatever the reading, permanent in your brain. You got here to increase your memory. It is the basic. First thing is learn attentively. After reading or learning, make some short notes, make some retention marks to remember what you have learned. Write it in a page with a time also. Just see that after some days you will remember, on this day I read this book, I read this information. Your brain has a super power, it can remember. See, just a cage of word and Yash name makes remember of the full movie to your mind. Then why can't it happen for your studies? If you are make your studies with concentration, with interest, the keywords, the retention marks, definitely it will recalls or it will give back what you have studied. Okay, and after this retention marks, the third one is recalling. What you have learned, what the retention marks you made, you have to keep recalling them periodically, 15 days once, monthly once. You have just summarize, memorize, just summarize that. What have studied, what have learned. Just keep on visiting that retention marks. Here retention marks means nothing but like the VIB-GOYAR in the science. VIB-GOYAR. Why we are using that VIB-GOYAR? To remember the 7 colors of rainbow. VIB-GOYAR. Violet, indigo, blue, green, orange, yellow, red. Like that. Your retention marks also. What you are learning, what you are studied, what you are read, what the book you have read. You have to make some visuals or some visual like a story, like one theme of what you have learned, or keynotes or short notes of that book, what you have learned. That is retentions. And if you are recalling them, if you are making a revision of them, definitely it will stores in your mind, and it can store for a long time also. And last and final stage of this memory is identification. Already you know what is identification. If you are walking on the road, if you heard a music of that movie, you can remember the story of the movie, then the hero of the movie. Like that, if you are studied well, if you are learning and receiving to your brain is very correctly, means with attention and with concentration, if you are studied, if you are learned what I said, like you are learning, then if you are made some keynotes or made some plans to remember that retention marks, and if you are keep on recalling them a monthly or whenever it is possible, when you heard a single word of what you have studied, what you have prepared for your examination, if you heard a single word, definitely it can remember all the information what you have read that lesson. As I said, a simple dialogue in a movie which make you remember full movie, full story of the movie. Here when we are watching that movie, we are watching with attention, we are watching with eyes, we are listening with ears, our attention fully towards the movie. So we remember like that. While for studies or learning also, you have to concentrate your sense organs and learn, and the output like retention marks you have to make to keep that in your mind for a long term memory, and you have to keep recalling them, and the identification is very easy whenever, where or in any other time. If you heard a single word or a single topic about what you have studied, definitely you can remember the whole what you have learned or what you have sent to your brain, the information, it will come out and you can remember. Here for students or for anybody also, here this is the 4 stages of memory. Receiving and learning, it should be good and perfect. Then retentions is nothing but what you have learned, make it a short note, clues, some visions like story like planning to remember it for a long time. Keep on recalling that key notes or short notes or your visions. Then the identification, definitely it will get back what you have learned, what you have stored in your mind, and you can remember everything and you can face an examination or anywhere. See, this is about the learning and the memory. Here, to improve your learning, follow this, and to increase your memory, first learn effectively, make some output, make some retention marks what you have learned, and keep on recalling them, and then automatically your brain identifies and it will give out whatever stored in your brain. If you done this correctly, definitely you can increase your memory and even you can learn faster also. I hope you enjoyed or you have learned that how the learning should be and how to improve or increase your memory. Keep practicing this and learn well and do well. Thank you for watching this Learn and Memory.